Sports fans of Real Talk and Hoops Insight, stay in the game with NBA legend Sam Mitchell. Now you can show your love for the In the Game podcast with exclusive merch from the In the Game online store. Coffee cups, caps, grab bold t-shirts, cozy hoodies, sleek thermal drinking cups, and more. It's all with that signature Sam Mitchell swagger. Visit InTheGameStore.com today and get in the game with Sam Mitchell, because it's more than a show. It's a lifestyle on the In the Game Network. Game for the next 30 minutes or a fraction more. Thousands all over the world are dressed out, and yet only one man is ready to start. He played with Garnett and the Minnesota Timberwolves with a career that started with the Indiana Pacers and earned the NBA Head Coach of the Year with the Toronto Raptors. You hear him on Sirius XM Radio and saw him on NBA TV. And now, get the buzzer ready. Start the clock. Blow the whistle. Right now, it's time for former NBA head coach in the game with Sam.
Welcome, ladies and gents. Welcome to In the Game. I'm your host, Sam Mitchell. Look, I don't know if I apologize or just tell you the reason why I've been off there. And don't forget to hit the like button for In the Game Network. And on Mondays, the Raw Side of Things by Sir Bam Bam. Tune in for that. But my son, for those of you who don't know, I have a 13-year-old son named Miles. He's about 6'1", size 14 shoe, an athlete. But the thing that I'm most proud of is his intelligence. Kid, an A+ student last 2 years. Hasn't made A pluses in advanced courses. And so being an NBA player, coach, playing in Europe, playing in the minor leagues, I've traveled a lot. I've spent over half my life away from home. I've missed countless birthdays, anniversaries, Christmases, Thanksgivings, you name it, I've missed it. There was a stretch where I had not been home for the holidays in 20 years. And so having my son, Miles, at this stage of my life, later in my life, I made some changes and some adjustments and some promises to myself and to God. And I promised myself that when I can do it and it wouldn't cause hardship on anyone else but me, that I would not forsake time with family, my kids, my son, for work. And I only get my son for a few weeks, 3 weeks after in the summertime. And then I get him for spring break. He lives in New Jersey with his mother. And that time for me is precious. That time for him is precious. And so having him here during the week of my basketball camp, and not just that, but the time that he got to spend with his grandmother, his sisters, his aunts, his uncles, his cousins, trying to squeeze all this time in 3 weeks is very difficult, especially when you're the one that's scheduling and chauffeuring him here and there. And plus, carving out meaningful time between he and I, things that he wants to do exclusively just with me. And so him being here and me trying to do this show on Tuesday and Thursday, it was just too tough. I would have had to leave him in Columbus, drive 1 hour and 45 minutes back to Atlanta, do the show, drive back, get up early in the morning, because this was my schedule at my basketball camp. He and I would get up every morning at 6 o'clock, go to the weight room. And then from there, we would go to the gym early before the other kids came, and we would go through a workout, a good hour and 15-minute workout. And there were times we would shoot. We would shoot until we made 400 to 500 shots. And for a 13-year-old, to me, that's impressive. And I want you guys to understand something. I coach my son hard, okay? To the point to where we've had to have conversations about, look, maybe I need to take a step back and just concentrate on being your dad and allow others to coach you. And he and I having that back and forth, that conversation, that dialogue, it's been very helpful in us just making sure that that bond between father and son is just tight. And after my son and I had a couple of rough days, me coaching him, because my expectations, when I put this coach's hat on, I mean, I'm all in as far as you getting better, you giving me your maximum. And I have to understand that at 13, some kids don't completely understand that and don't take it as serious as I would have taken it. That being said, it's hard for me to turn that switch off because I coach how I coach, and I don't make apologies for it. And so I had to sit my son down after a couple of days, and he and I have a heart-to-heart talk. And some tears were involved about, dude, do you really want this? Do you really want me to coach you? Do you really want to try to be a professional athlete? Because my son is two sports plays baseball and basketball. Very talented in both of them. But again, being talented at 13 years old compared to being talented at 18 to 19 to 20 years old, when you're at that level to be considered for the NBA draft or Major League draft, to be one of the top players to be drafted. That's a long road. That's a lot of time being in the gym on the baseball diamond. That's a long way away. So what we try to do is focus on the short-term things. Are we getting better daily? But that being said, we had to have that conversation because I can't turn off who I am as a coach, and my expectations for him as a player, I need more from him. I need more attention. I need more of a level of commitment because at this age, 13 to 14 years old, as he's transitioning over, getting ready to go, he's going to the 8th grade. But all the people that I've talked to, Daryl Peterson, all these guys that have had high-level kids, what was that age where they had to make that jump from being a kid to understanding this is something I want to be exceptional at, and understanding the work ethic and the commitment it comes to trying to achieve that. And the consensus that I've gotten is that 13 to 14-year-old, that's the biggest jump. From that 7th grade to 9th grade, that's when that light bulb should come on. And I think back to me and my development, and that's why it was so hard for me to make it at the appropriate age. The light bulb didn't come on for me until my senior year in high school. And then my freshman year, sophomore year, those years, I was committed to basketball and I took off. But I often think, what if I would have had that light bulb moment in the 8th or 9th grade? What could I have been? How good could I have been? And could my career have been different? Not to complain, but I was 26 before I made it to an NBA roster. And I would like to think that if I had put the work in 4 years earlier, I had a different mindset, I could have been a first-round pick direct out of college. And so I have these conversations with my son because just like me, when they say the apple don't fall far from the tree, my son demeanor is just like I was at 13. Free-flowing, fun-loving, a jokester, a prankster, didn't really take anything too serious other than school. But my son is like that, but his skill set is way better than mine. First of all, I couldn't play baseball in the 8th and 9th grade, scared of a curry ball. But his basketball ability, his shooting ability, look, I can shoot. I'm not saying on Steph Curry. I'm not saying on Reggie Miller, Ray Allen, but I can shoot. My son at 13 is out shooting me. This is what we do. We shoot until we make 500 shots. And we have to make 250 18-footers and 250 NBA three-pointers. And we make 50 from every spot, all 5 spots going around the horn. To me, for a 13-year-old, to do that, to shoot until he makes 500 shots without complaining, and I'm on him, I'm firing the ball to him, and doing it consistently is impressive to me. So we're putting the work in. But again, having to sit my son down and say, look, we got to decide what's most important or how we're going to do this if I'm going to coach you. And so I said to my son, I am willing, because talking to my friends who viewed me, who've been in the gym when I coach my son, think sometimes I could be a little tough, all have said to me, either you need to take a step back or you need to change who you are as a coach. Well, I'm not changing who I am as a coach. And I'm not saying that in a bad way that I can't change, but I don't feel like I'm not a negative coach. I'm a coach that that's strong in development, hard work, and I don't like to coach effort. And when you're dealing with 13-year-olds, sometimes you have to coach effort. And that's the thing I'm trying to coach out of my son. I'm trying to teach my son how to be self-reliant. I tell him all the time, my number one message to him is, anybody can come in the gym or go to the baseball diamond and work when they have a coach there overseeing them. Can you do the work by yourself? When you finish your workout with the coach and you go home and get a bite to eat, have something to drink and relax, and then you get up for that second workout, and it's on you, how hard you push yourself, how motivated you are, how long do you work? Do you drive yourself? Do you push yourself? Do you play mind tricks with yourself to get yourself over the hump? That's what I tell my son. That's when you become a pro. Not when everybody's in the gym and you working with everybody else. It's when you're by yourself and you got to push yourself, right? That's when I became at my best, when I learned how to motivate me for me. And I tell my son this all the time. You got to love you, you got to respect you, and you got to want more for you than anyone else. The standards that you set for yourself got to be higher than any coach could ever set for you. That's why I always had a problem. If I was on a team and a coach came in the locker room and talked about our lack of professionalism and our lack of effort, I took that personally. And there's times, the only few times in my career I've ever went back at a coach is when a coach tried to say to me, I wasn't playing hard. Oh, no. You don't get to do that. You don't get to throw a term out like that encompasses everybody and me. Because I took pride in not taking plays off, days off, games off. When I was on the floor, the reason when I stepped away from basketball, listen to me carefully. The reason when I stepped away from basketball and people look me in the face and in the eye and say, what would you have done different? Oh, I would have worked on my ball handling. I would have been more attentive to this, to that. It's a few things. But one thing I never, ever have a problem with is my work ethic and me bringing it every day, every practice, not taking plays off. I took pride in that. That's what made me up. It wasn't my talent. I can sit down and break my game down right now and tell you all the things I was mediocre to bad at. Had no left hand. After 2 dribbles with my left hand, I was in trouble. Right? Wasn't a great athlete. I had to really focus and study the scouting report to learn the guy's tendencies in order to guard him. Because I didn't have the foot speed or the quickness to guess wrong and recover. I had to be a good shooter, a better shooter than just a good shooter. I wasn't exceptional, but I was pretty damn good. And so I had to pay attention to the details in order to have the longevity and the type of career that I had. And I'm grateful for it. But the one thing that I'm proud of is that I didn't take plays off, games off. I played hard every minute I was on the floor. I considered it a blessing, right? The deal I made with God, the promise I made with God was that if you allow me to play one game in the NBA, I promise you I won't take plays off. I promise you I won't take practices off. I went hard. And that's why when it was time for me to walk away, I had no guilt. I had no shame. I had no I wish I woulda, coulda, shoulda. No, because I knew I left everything out on that basketball court. And so those are the type of things I'm trying to instill into my son, because those are the type of things those characteristics are going to take you where you say you want to go. And so I'm on him. And so after having this conversation heart to heart, to where he was crying, I was crying, because we got into it. I mean, it was intense. My son paused for a second and got quiet for about 2-3 minutes, which seemed like 20 minutes. And he looked at me and he said, Dad, I understand what you're saying, but I need this. Like, I understand where my weaknesses are and my strengths are, and I need you to push me. He said, because I struggle with coaches who are pushing me, and I need to get better at that. He said, because you're always telling me that coaches don't push unless they see something. And he's right. To me, if I'm coaching a team and I'm coaching different level of kids, and I got a kid that's doing his best, that's not very good, but he's doing the best he can, I don't get on that kid. To me, that's abuse. I don't get on him, yell at him, critique him. No, I encourage 24/7 because that kid is giving you the best that he got. And if someone giving you the best, that's not much more you can ask for. Where I draw the line is when I know someone has the talent, the skill to do better, to be better, and they're not giving it to me. That's when, as a coach, you got to push. That's when, as a coach, you got to get to know that person, understand, and try to unlock that hidden gem in them, that hidden talent. So my son is like that. My son has oodles and oodles of talent. He can handle, he can shoot it left or right, he can shoot it off the bounce. He's smart, he understands how to play, but that work ethic, that determination has something to be desired. And so I'm on him and I'm pushing and I'm pulling, I'm extracting, trying to get him to that point. And so I have so much love for my son because during that conversation, as I said, he looked at me and said, I need these things, Dad. I am soft. It's hard for me not to be. Look how I'm being raised. And then we just kind of laughed about it. But he's like, no, I need you to be tough and firm and push me until I learn how to do it myself. And it brought me back to Wayne Emery used to say this. When I first got a head coaching job at Toronto Raptors, Wayne and I talked about who did I think was going to be the leaders of the team. And I simply looked at Wayne at the time and said, Wayne, right now, Chris Bosh is young. He don't know how to lead. We don't really have a leader. And Wayne looked at me and said, your job as the coach is to be the leader until you get someone ready to take in that role. And so I look at this kind of same thing. That's my job. And so my son and I decided that I am going to continue to coach him. I made a personal decision that I am going to try to tone down who I am, because in order to be a good coach, you have to understand how to reach your audience. And it doesn't do me any good for me to be up here when my audience is right here. And so those are the reasons why I've missed the last 2 weeks of the show, because I made promises to not only myself, but to God, that given a second chance, I would not blow it. I would not waste it. I would not put my work before my family and spending time with my children. And the fact that at such an age, I have a 13-year-old son, the least that I could do when he's in town is give him that time. Not only be his dad, but be his coach and be any and everything that he needs me to be. So I hope you guys bear with me. I hope you guys understand that it wasn't me being lazy, not being here the last 2 weeks. It was just taking care of family and making sure I give my son the love and the time that he deserves. So look, we're going to pay a few bills right now. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we got some things to talk about. Luka Doncic just signed an extension. De'Aaron Fox is re-up with the San Antonio Spurs. We got a lot of things to talk about, a few things in the NBA to talk about. You're listening to In the Game on the whole family. We'll be right back after messages.
All right. In the Game with former NBA coach Sam Mitchell is taking a break. We'll be back in less than 2 laps. This is the In the Game Network. Sports fans of Real Talk and Hoops Insight, stay in the game with NBA legend Sam Mitchell. Now you can show your love for the In the Game podcast with exclusive merch from the In the Game online store. Coffee cups, caps, grab bowl t-shirts, cozy hoodies, sleek thermal drinking cups, and more. It's all with that signature Sam Mitchell swagger. Visit InTheGameStore.com today and get in the game with Sam Mitchell, because it's more than a show. It's a lifestyle on the In the Game Network. with Coach Sam Mitchell. Lead in.
Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to In the Game. I'm your host, Sam Mitchell. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, In the Game Network every Monday. 1 o'clock, right, Nadi?
You mean
Every Monday,
the raw side of things.
In the Game Network with Sir Bam Bam, airing live every Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget to tune in. Also, don't forget again to like and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button to In the Game Network. Before we took a break, we talked about Luka Doncic, and the new era of the Lakers is beginning. Luka Doncic signed a new 3-year, $165 million and some change contract extension, going to put him at around $55, $56 million a year. And he could have signed a 4, maybe even 5-year deal, but the reason for doing a 3-year deal is that people forget he lost $100 million when he was traded from Dallas to LA. So by signing a 3-year deal at his age, Luka, after these 3 years, can re-up if he continues to play at a high level, which we all think he will, especially since the new Luka showed up being in shape. Luka would be able to sign like a 5-year deal for $400 and some million. A crazy amount of money. So this puts Luka back on track to get all of his monies, as Steve Smith would say. But the transition is here. Luka now is the face of the Los Angeles Lakers, and it was kind of ironic who a lot of his teammates, DeAndre Ayton, most of his teammates now that showed up when Luka was back in town to sign his contract. But 2 people, now it may have been more, but 2 people wasn't there.
2 glaring people.
Yeah, the King, LeBron James,
Right.
and the Prince, Bronny James.
Well, Bronny can't go. He got to get a ride from his daddy. So
Bronny making $8 million. Bronny got a car. Or if he don't, he can buy his own car. So no, we're not going there. And there's been people who said that they understand why LeBron maybe wasn't there, but Bronny, since most of the other teammates was there, should have been there. And see, to me, I agree with that from this standpoint. It would have gave him a chance to start separating his identity from his father. Wait a minute. Not that in a bad way, but by showing up at the press conference, understanding that, look, one, I'm not LeBron James. I'm Bronny.
That's right.
I'm not 6'8", 250 pounds, all Mr. Everything, arguably the greatest player in the NBA history. I'm not that dude.
Right.
So I can't do what Daddy do. I got to stand up and start carving out a niche for me. And carving out a niche for me would have been for me to show up at the press conference with all my other teammates. Because, wait a minute, Bronny has a guaranteed contract with the Lakers.
Yes, he does.
So it's not like Bronny is on that 2-way deal like a lot of G League guys. Bronny has a NBA contract. So I felt like, now it's not the end of the world, but I felt like it would have been a great opportunity for Bronny to send the message that I'm my own man, that I understand this. I'm responsible for my own career, and I can't do what my father does.
He's responsible for his own career.
Yes, he's going to be responsible. Okay, what now? Unless LeBron's going to buy a team immediately when he retires.
He has been talking to Jokic and his agent about starting the league
in Europe.
That's what Bronny gonna be playing as soon as LeBron lead the Lakers.
Okay, let me sprinkle some dust. Y'all pump your brakes. The Joker will probably be just about done playing before there's a new league. First of all, do you understand the time, the money, the commitment, and how long it would take to get all the people in the room from all these European countries that you're thinking about starting this league to do this? It's going to take years of infrastructure. You got to think about the teams, how the teams are going to be funded, where they're going to play, what countries they're going to. Now, there's so much to think about.
I understand that.
And again, I've been through it because in 1999, that was a fraction of the guys doing the lockout that had actually entertained the thought of breaking away from the union. and going on with another network, starting their own league. So I've been a part of those talks. I've heard about those talks. Now, I wouldn't have been one of those first 100 players.
Of course.
But I understand what it takes, the infrastructure that got to be built out. That being said, for me, as a young player, Luka's the guy. The Lakers are Luka Doncic's team. To me, it would have just been a quiet statement that I'm Bronny James, I'm my own man, my own basketball player, and I'm probably going to have to do things different than how my father does things. You don't see it that way.
No, I'm saying I see it like this. This is
you
why
see it from the ignorant way.
This is why I believe LeBron is gonna stay with the Lakers for the whole year. And
of
then
course he's gonna be with the whole year.
Because
if he's not there, why would the Lakers want Bronny James around?
Right. If you trade LeBron,
they can cut him and eat the money.
Yeah.
And if they cut him and eat the money,
ta-da,
he may not be on another team. Somebody may sign him for a G League contract.
Right.
But he's not getting a guaranteed NBA.
Well, we on the same page.
Okay, then. So look, I'm one of these people. I think Lakers, look, to me, if you look at the team that Rob Pelinka has put together, now I don't know if he did it, if he's that good, or because DeAndre Ayton got bought out of Portland, that these things kind of fell in his lap. But if you think about Marcus Smart being bought out, if he's healthy, think about the Lakers starting lineup on paper. You're going to have Luka, Marcus Smart maybe.
Marcus Smart, if he ain't in jail.
DeAndre Ayton.
Not Marcus Smart. I'm thinking Marcus Morris. I'm sorry.
DeAndre Ayton. And what's that? What's that?
Hachimura.
Yeah, Rudy Hachimura.
You like Hachimura?
So, and then when you start thinking about, to me, I would bring Smart off the bench.
Yes.
I'm keeping my shooting out there. Right? You got Connect.
Okay. Is he happy?
Well,
they tried to trade him just last year.
He's in his second year.
No one's really awful concerned. Summer league.
Well, guess what? Let me say something and let me address that. You get caught up in your feelings as a young player and you haven't established yourself and you start stinking up the summer league. Look, being traded is part of the game. You get caught up in your feelings, and guess what happens next? You're in the G League. And guess what happens after the G League? You're playing in Europe. So Dalton Connect has a skill that a lot of NBA teams want, the shooting. And he's a better athlete than what people think. I like him as a player. But I would tell him right now if I was his agent, you need to let go. Whatever feelings you have about being traded to Charlotte, now being back in LA, you need to get past that. I get it, but this is a grown man league. And if you can't handle the grown man situation that you're in, then just go look at your G League team and go look at all those guys that would do anything to have your spot. So you keep playing like you played in the summertime, and you won't have to worry about playing for the Los Angeles Lakers or no one else. That being said, now I just felt like for Bronny, showing up would have demonstrated that at least he's trying to be his own person.
I agree.
He's trying to be his own man, that he's been the type of player and he's got to do things different. LeBron, look, did LeBron have to be there? No. Would it have been nice for LeBron to be there? Yes. From this standpoint, you've been on record talking about how much you love and respect Luka Doncic's game.
Facts.
You talk about it. Since the day this guy has come into the league, you've praised him for his game.
Yes.
Now you're playing with this guy.
Mm-hmm.
Luka hadn't said one time this is his team.
Not yet.
Luka, but he doesn't have to say it.
Right. Yeah, they said it.
And
right.
Father Time, let's be real, Father Time has said it. Look, Father Time, look, LeBron James is still a great player.
Top 10.
Yeah, but Luka's better. Right now?
I mean, he's getting in
Hold
good
up.
shape finally.
Hold
He's in
up.
good shape finally.
Now that when he was in bad shape, he took the Dallas Mavericks to the finals. So stop.
I mean, it's a team game. He didn't do nothing by himself.
We get that.
He was a liability on defense.
You think they would have played in the NBA Finals without him?
No.
Okay. And I'm gonna shut you up about this on defense. Don't piss me off. The second half of the season, with Luka on the floor, that year, the Dallas Mavericks had the best defense in the league. So again,
that wasn't because of Luka.
He's on the floor 45 minutes of the game.
Yes.
So again,
the other 4 players played great.
Hold up. Let me give you something.
Yeah.
Let me explain something to you. 4 guys can't guard 5 in high school, much less the NBA. So stop.
Okay.
Can't do it.
All right.
All right. I've been in drills. My rookie year in Houston, Bill Fitch would get pissed off with us, the Rockets coach at the time. He would make us press and trap.
Right.
4 against 5.
Right.
And we had to get 3 steals to get off the floor.
Right.
How many times do you think we did that?
I don't know.
Never, ever. After about 10 minutes, the starters, Akeem, Ralph Sampson, all those guys, Rodney McCray, they would feel so bad for us, they would just throw the ball away so we could get a break and rest. So there is no way in God's green earth, there is no 4
Wait a
defenders.
minute. You just told me.
Guard 5.
You just told me 2 weeks ago that when the Lakers played Minnesota, they hid Luka.
No, I said they hid 2 people. They tried to hide 3.
And Luka was one of the ones that they
tried
hid.
to hide 3.
Right. They tried.
Okay. Right. You can't hide 3.
I agree.
But this is my point. If you got good defenders on the floor, Luka knows how to play good team defense.
Okay.
And NBA defense is not necessarily all about individual. Think about it. How many shots did Tyrese Halliburton make down the stretch in the playoffs?
He made a lot of shots.
Okay. Where was the defense? Good defense, right? You ever heard the term great D, better O?
They gave great effort
all the time.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Offensive player always got the advantage. All right. Because they know where they want to go and when they want to shoot. You have no idea. Plus, you can foul them. All right. So the offense has the advantage. My point is this. Luka knows how to incorporate himself. And the fact that he's in shape now, know how to play team defense. Right. So the NBA is about team defense. That's why now that when I work with my son, I work with my son on ball handling and shooting. We ain't doing all these sliding drills. We do that later. When he gets his team, if he's got a coach worth anything, the coach is going to set up that team defense, right? To be a good defender, you got to be able to guard your yard. That about from here to about there. Because the court is only so wide.
Right.
And with the length of players and the size of players, think about it from this standpoint. Think about Dallas front line. When you do Lively, Anthony Davis, and
Washington.
No, but my young guy.
Gasper.
Number 1 pick. Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag.
6'9", 7'1", 7'1" across. And they do this. Or do this. They're going to engulf the 4. And then when you throw in the other 2 guys, that's my point. So size matters defensively. What also helps Luka, he's 6'9" and long. So my point is this. It would have, to me, been the right thing to do for LeBron to show up when the teammates showed up at the press conference. It would have been to me. Because when you talk about how much you respect this man and his game,
right,
and you talk about how great he is, now that you're playing with him, now that he's come in, and now that, let's be honest, LeBron is great. LeBron is in that rare argument about, to me, 3 players.
I agree.
It should be 3.
I agree.
It shouldn't be 2.
It should be 3.
It should be 3. It should be Kareem,
yes,
Michael, and LeBron.
I agree.
Period. Those 3. Now, we can have a conversation about adding maybe 1 or 2 more, maybe.
Maybe 3 more.
Yeah, but those 3 for sure. Michael, Kareem, and LeBron. So he's in that rare air conversation of the greatest player in the history of the NBA, right?
Right.
So, to me, It's the transition. LeBron knows this is probably his last year in LA. Now, the Lakers could win the championship and turn around and say, LeBron, we want to re-up you for 2 years or a year or whatever. You don't know. But let's just say this is the last year. Look what the Lakers and look what the Lakers with LeBron have accomplished. They won a championship. And I don't buy this asterisk because it was in the bubble.
Me either.
I would say it was a harder championship to win. And people try to say, oh, you're playing in the same arena, just you. Yeah, you're playing in the same arena. You're not traveling. You're cooped up in a hotel. You can't get out and about. You can't do nothing. You can't go anywhere. You're with the same people 24/7, no break, and you don't have contact with your family. There's no fans really in the arena. There's that energy to draw from. All right. People don't understand this. Even when you go on the road, it's something about going on the road being the villain, about being the butthole, right? It's something about Reggie Miller loved it. Reggie Miller loved going on the road and people yelling at him and screaming at him and calling him names. They're doing it the regular way under those circumstances. And then look at what else has happened. The Lakers have given your son a 4-year chance to be an NBA player by giving him a 4-year, $8 million guaranteed deal. I'm just saying, Nadi. Everybody get if look, man, my dad used to tell me this all the time. He used to say, son, sometimes it's not good to stay somewhere forever and a day. Because at some point, you're gonna outstay your welcome. At some point, people are gonna get tired of placating to you. It's gonna be time to move on. And so after 22 years, maybe it's time, or the time that LeBron has been in LA, it may be after this season time to move on. It may not be, depending on how the season goes.
Right.
But I just felt like for a guy, for the way you talk about Luka, it would have said a lot about your commitment to the Lakers this year.
Agreed.
By showing up at the press conference. Because on paper, you're finally on a team, since you've been with the Lakers, since you won a championship, that you got a chance to come out the West.
You know what? That makes me scratch my head because when they brought AD to the Lakers from New Orleans, the thing was in the next couple of years, he would take over
and
at
LeBron,
the number one.
And LeBron was all for it.
He was all for it.
Or
was he really?
Hold up. And every year, what would we hear? The Lakers and LeBron are waiting for AD to take that next step.
Right.
The Lakers and LeBron are waiting for AD to take that next step. So guess what? The Lakers said AD didn't want to do it. He didn't. Heavy is the head who wears the crown. So AD didn't want that crown. So they went and got somebody who wants that crown, who don't mind wearing it, right? And it's not heavy to him.
Right.
And to your point, look what's going on. LeBron didn't show up. So maybe it sounds like the right thing to say.
Exactly.
It sounds like the right thing to do.
Exactly.
But in my heart, in my being, do I really feel that way?
No, because he know he better than AD. Now, Luka, he got to quit. Damn, is Luka better than me? Younger.
But this is the
he
thing,
do the same thing I do.
About better.
He's in great shape.
But it's not about
I'm talking
better.
about right at this moment.
I know, but to me, even then, it wasn't about was AD going to be better than LeBron. Look, man, as you get older, you get more susceptible to injuries. The Lakers trying to get longevity out of LeBron, they're trying to cut his minutes, right? You're trying to rein him back a little bit so he has something left in the tank for the playoffs, right? You don't want, what good is it for the Lakers to win 60 games and then LeBron is dog tired coming to playoffs and can't get you there?
Right.
No, he can't do what he did at 25 and 30 and 35. He just can't. Father time, right? Just can't. And so it's only the right strategy if you're lucky enough to find someone who could be better than LeBron. And Luka right now, look, I'm not going to get into being better, but let's just say for the sake of argument, younger, and got a lot more years to look forward. So the Lakers, I think you would agree with this. The Lakers are not doing the wrong thing by transitioning this team over to build this team around Luka and his skill set.
Correct.
So they're not doing the wrong thing. We agree with that, right?
We agree.
Okay. So that being said, understanding that it's a natural progression at some point, LeBron, and it's going to be sooner than later. I think we will agree on that. I think we both right now can say with certainty, LeBron's not going to play 20 more years.
Nah.
15 more years.
Nah, he's not going to
10 more years. 5 more years.
I'm thinking maybe 2.
I'm thinking 2.
At the max.
At the max, 2.
Right.
So understanding that, look, I had this conversation with someone today, and they knew their job was coming to an end. And they knew it for a year. But knowing it, understanding it, it's kind of like when my father was passing. We knew it. He had pancreatic cancer. We had prepared ourselves for it as well as we thought we had. But when that moment finally happened, it was still devastating. And I think LeBron has seen this. Obviously, it's been talked about all the time that at some point, he's not going to be the face of a team or the face of the league. And even though he understood that, knows that, but now that it's here and it's hitting right in the face, look, I'm going to say this. Let's give him some time to adjust. When you've been the face of franchises in the face of the NBA for basically 20 years, it's a little different when that reign is finally coming to an end. Not the reign of being one of the top 10 players. That still remains to be seen. But the reign of it being where teams now directly build around your skill set and your personnel, where you dominate the locker room, the franchise, you lead with the news, it's about you. And it's going to be weird for LeBron. Being LeBron James still playing at a high level when everything and every storyline is going to be started and ends with Luka Doncic. Amen. This is times when my mother used to say this all the time. If you live long enough, you will experience a lot of things. And LeBron James has played long enough to where now we can say he's experienced the very beginning, and he's starting to experience the end of a career. Look, got to take a break now. We got to pay some bills. When we come back, we got a little bit more. We got to talk about De'Aaron Fox. We didn't even get a chance to talk about De'Aaron Fox getting his extension in San Antonio Spurs. And then we got to talk a little NFL news. These things going on in the National Football Association. You're listening to In the Game. I'm your host, Sam Mitchell. We'll be right back after these few words.
Sports fans of Real Talk and Hoops Insight, stay in the game with NBA legend Sam Mitchell. Now you can show your love for the In the Game podcast with exclusive merch from the In the Game online store. Coffee cups, caps, grab bold t-shirts, cozy hoodies, sleek thermal drinking cups, and more. It's all with that signature Sam Mitchell swagger. Visit InTheGameStore.com today and get in the game with Sam Mitchell, because it's more than a show. It's a lifestyle on the In the Game Network. On the In the Game Network with Coach Sam Mitchell. Lead in right now to hear what the coach has drawn up on the chalkboard.
Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to In the Game. I'm your host, Sam Mitchell. As we fade out for a break, we talked about Luka Doncic and his contract extension. We forgot to mention, we mentioned it, but didn't dive into it enough. De'Aaron Fox, San Antonio Spurs, just sounded nice. What was it, 4-year or 5-year extension?
4-year, $229 million max contract extension. Clutch Sports, Rich Paul did the deal.
Wow. So think about this. You know you're going to have to max out Wemby. And who's next? And this is the scary thing for San Antonio. If San Antonio, they better manage their books right, because look at what OKC was able to do to keep all that young talent. They haven't had to sell off that young talent. If San Antonio don't manage that cap right, they're going to have to let some of this young talent go, because you got Harper, you got Vassell, you got Victor Wembanyama. I mean, those three guys right there are going to be all thinking when they see De'Aaron Fox, and I guarantee you right now, Vassell and Harper already think they're as good, if not better, than De'Aaron Fox. Promise you that. Promise you. And Victor Wembanyama already know he's the cat meow. He know he's getting paid.
Well, let me ask you.
So this is the question now. San Antonio better be careful, man, because those two young guys, guess when they're going to want their extension?
In 2 years.
In 2 more years, in year 3.
Right.
They're not going to want to wait to that 4 year. And we've learned when they don't get it, they hold a grudge. It carries with them.
Right.
But not just a day or two, but for years. We've seen that. So to me, it's going to be interesting going forward. Now that San Antonio think they have enough young talent to start winning, now they got to pay this talent.
Yeah. But my thing is Harper and Vassell and those guys can think what they want. And you tell me, doesn't these sports teams, these franchises have coaches and scouts and guys in the building that can say,
of course, but now to think about it from the player standpoint.
He's not better than him.
But think about this. You, first of all, you want all that to be determined on the court.
Right.
But think about this. What pick was Harper?
It was number 2.
There you go, my brother. Hey, man, look. When you're drafting me top 5, dude, I'm getting paid. First of all, I'm going to play. You don't take somebody 1 or 2, 3 or 4 or 5 and they don't play. Now, De'Aaron Fox was a high draft pick too, because you can make the argument 19 points a game does not equate to max deal. 19 points, that's what we average. San Antonio, 19 points a game. So you can make that argument. The numbers don't equate to a max deal.
I agree.
So again, I'm Dylan Harper. I'm Vassell. 19 points a game. Remember, over 40 guys average 20. Over 40, 19 wasn't one of them. So
I mean, but
hold up. I'm putting you in the seat with these players. Man, 19 get you 225.
But how much stock goes into that? De'Aaron Fox has been a leader of a team that did go to the playoffs.
Okay, but they never won it.
They didn't win it, but they got to the playoffs.
Never advanced.
And San Antonio.
Making the play in the playoffs is not advancing. And so when you start getting max money, I don't pay people max money just to make the playoffs. I mean, I can make the playoffs with a bad team.
Agreed.
Right? Yeah. A lot of bad teams.
I mean, not a bad team.
Not bad, mediocre teams.
Right.
Mediocre teams makes playoffs get beat in the first round. Okay? So when I start paying people, I start expecting to win and to advance. I'm not saying the money wasn't deserving, but what I'm saying is when you have a young team like San Antonio, you better look at how OKC was able to keep all these young guys and keep them happy. Because now, Harper was number 2 pick. He's going to expect to play, if not start. He's going to expect to be on that floor 25 to 32, 33. Look how things are working out in Golden State with Jonathan Kuminga.
Right. Oh, it's terrible. We haven't even mentioned Stephen Castle.
Okay. Now, that's my point. So now, do you want 2 guys, because Victor's going to get taken care of. I can promise you this. Castle and Harper both won't get paid. You can't pay but 3.
Agreed.
I mentioned 4 guys.
Yes, you did.
One just got paid.
One got paid.
The other one getting paid after next year.
Max.
Not even talked about. Victor getting paid.
Right.
Harper was the number 2 pick.
Yes.
Vassell was what pick last year?
He was
high pick. Okay. And he played well.
Yeah, right. Stephen Castle.
Stephen Castle, I mean.
Right.
Rookie of the year, right?
Rookie of the year.
Okay. So now, I'm Rookie of the year. What happened? Who's the last Rookie of the year got paid? Rookies of the year come that 3rd year. normally get paid.
Right.
Okay. So again, you can only pay 3. And the players can count. They may not can count a lot, but they can count to 5.
How much do you feel San Antonio felt that they were cornered because they traded for Fox? And if you trade for him, you trading, you got to pay him.
I think if you had hindsight, getting Harper, if they would have knew how things would fall for sure, I promise you they wouldn't have made that trade. They would have even waited 1 more year to try to be good. Why? Because you want to see what these other young guys can be. Because God forbid these young guys turn out to be better than De'Aaron Fox. Then you're going to have a problem. People say that's a good problem to have. It's not a good problem when you can only pay 3 and you got 4 and 1 unpaid. And the other 3 may be better than the 1 you paid. Think about it from this standpoint. De'Aaron was the first to get paid. You think Victor is going to be better? Yeah, he's better.
He's 7'5".
Now think about this. What happens if the other 2 guys are better? Now you see the problem.
Well, the question I'm asking you, are they going to get a chance to be better?
Well, they're going to look, man. I was rookie of the year, I'm playing.
Right.
I was 2nd pick of the draft, I'm playing. Or it's going to be some problems. 2nd picks of the draft don't sit on the end of the bench.
Well, they all guards. How many guards you going to play?
There you go. Hey, man, ask the coach. See, it's important, man, when you put your roster together, you got to make sure guys got opportunity to play. And this, everybody play 20 minutes. No. 24 minutes, it don't work. No, it's not going to work. I can't get done what I need to get done in 24 minutes. I need 34. I need 32 to 38 minutes as a starter to get done what I need to get done to establish myself as an elite player. I can't do it in 24 minutes. Nobody can. Starters and stars want to play because they understand minutes equal money. M&M. Minutes equal money. The fewer the minutes, the least amount of money you can make because you can't put up numbers.
Right.
Can't put up numbers.
Well, De'Aaron Fox.
Think about this. You never hear guys on bad teams complain about minutes.
No.
Think about it. You hear guys on winning teams complain about minutes.
Right.
Playing too many minutes. Do you ever hear guys on bad teams complain about their minutes?
Never.
Why? Because this is what they know. If we ain't winning, I ain't getting paid because we're winning. I'm going to get paid because I'm putting up numbers. So if I'm not in a winning situation, damn it, I better be in a situation where I can put up numbers. So if I'm on a bad team or a mediocre team, you better not cut my minutes to no 24. You would think, why are we playing this guy 30, 40 minutes, 42 minutes a game and we're losing? Because you got to keep him happy. Because he got to get his numbers.
Right.
Never. Right. You see, it brought a smile to your face.
Right. Well, I'm happy that De'Aaron Fox got his money.
Yeah. And I know De'Aaron. I like De'Aaron. But I'm just saying, for San Antonio.
Right. They got to be careful.
Be careful because, and some people would think this is a good problem to have. If the other 3 young players turned out to be better. Because if I could pay all 3 of them, it would be great. But I can't.
Right. Well, I'm saying that because there's another team in Texas that they have a superstar who they're not going to pay as of right now. And I'm wondering, is he going to play or are they going to trade him? Because Michael Parsons says, Dallas, y'all trade me. Jerry Jones ain't getting right with me.
I'm going to say something. Michael Parsons suffered an injury last year that should have made him understand. Until you get your money, you can't go play. Not football. Basketball different. We've seen Danny Manning got promised a contract, got hurt, and the Phoenix Suns still honored it and paid him.
Right.
Why? Most likely, a lot of the injuries, even the severe ones, torn Achilles, ACL, things of that nature, you can come back and still play 10 years. I told I had microfracture surgery in my 30s. and played till I was 40. Think about that. I was 32, had microfracture surgery. No cartilage in my right knee at all. None. They did the surgery. I played opening night. I played 6, 7 more years.
Right.
That ain't happening, Captain, in football. Why? Players go at your knees all the time.
Mhm.
Just the way the violence of the game, the way when you're in a pile, you can land, right? So what Michael Parsons got to understand, he cannot go out there and practice or play until he gets compensated like he should. This is going to be a tough one because if Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboys would have did his deal last year, they could have signed Michael Parsons for $35 million a year. That would have been the top, and they would have had him locked in. Now that number's $42 million.
That number's high.
Yeah, 42.
Right.
And what Dallas is afraid of, CeeDee Lamb was one time the highest paid receiver. Dak Prescott is still the highest paid quarterback.
Yes.
Why? Because Jerry Jones waits. I'm going to say this.
Wait to the last minute.
As good as Dallas could be offensively, if they don't re-sign Michael Parsons, they're going to be awful. If they really don't want to pay him $42 million a year, if I was Jerry Jones, I would put together a type of trade for like the trade I did for Herschel Walker. But the difference would be that trade would be for the players I trade for coming in would be all defensive players. And all those picks I would use on defensive players. And you got to, but this is the thing though, Nada, this is what's crazy. You get high picks hoping and praying that you draft what kind of player?
Michael Parsons.
Okay. See,
this
is the problem. Even if you trade Michael Parsons and you get these picks, you're going to go back into the draft looking for another Michael Parsons.
Right.
And if you find one, you're going to have to pay him. And that number going to be $50 million by the time he develops.
Exactly.
But this is the problem. If you don't find one, your team is going to suck. Your team is going to be bad.
Right.
Your team is going to be mediocre. So if you don't find but this is what's crazy about professional sports. I want to find the star players, but I don't want to pay the star players. It don't make sense.
Yeah, Jerry, he does this often. He waits until the last minute. He waited till the last minute with CD too.
Yeah.
CD was holding out account
Yep.
last year until he paid him. So my thing is, it seems like Jerry tried to work this contract out with Michael Parsons without his agent.
Yes.
Michael Parsons probably told him, I'll take a haircut. But his agent, he said, but you got to deal with my agent. And you know how the agents work.
No.
I'm not, I'm trying to get my money too.
My player's the best player in the league defensively. You can make that argument.
Yes.
Of not top 3. Look, you could have did this last summer. This is not on the agent. Jerry Jones drafted a generational type player. Pay him. I know it hurts. I know you're thinking about, man, look how I can spread this money around and do this and do that. But think about it from this standpoint. Let's say you had 3 other different starters on the defense. Let's say you had a linebacker at Michael Parsons' positions. Let's say you had a cornerback, and let's say you had a D-line. And none of them combined could put the pressure on the quarterback or do what Michael Parsons does. Michael Parsons, by himself, forces the other team offense to do things that they're uncomfortable doing.
Right.
For one person. You got to double, you got to chip him, you got to do this, you got to do all these things. You got to know where he is at all times.
Right.
So Michael Parsons, if you don't have Michael Parsons and you don't have to do these things and you can block straight up and these guys can't get to the quarterback, it doesn't matter. Those guys make a difference. Okay, think of it like this. I played with Kevin Garnett.
Mm-hmm.
Every time Kevin Garnett touched the ball, the defense shrunk.
Right.
It made all of us a step more open.
Yes.
Everybody. Every time Michael Parsons lined up, the offense line shifts a little bit. They're leaning a little bit. He just made your right tackle, your left tackle better, your other outside linebacker, your safety, your cornerback better. Why? Because the DBs now know when Michael Parsons getting in there, the quarterback got 1 second shorter to get rid of the ball. So now I can lock up, I can lock in, and I can play that first move. Why? Because Michael Parsons putting pressure on him. But now if we ain't getting pressure, I'm at a disadvantage. That first move, the second move, I'm on the island by myself. That's why, look, Jerry, pay the man his money.
Right. Remember,
you did a great thing in drafting him. You did another great thing in developing him to become the player that he is. Now take pride in drafting and developing him and pay him.
Romero Head in the chat. Tell him to read some chat today. Jerry Jones, for everything in negotiations. He loses every negotiation. He's a horrible businessman. I would disagree with the business.
I
Go
disagree.
ahead.
Listen.
Go ahead.
There's a difference between the business of sports and the business of oil and gas that Jerry Jones was in. Jerry Jones may be a lousy general manager of a football team, but he is a great businessman to do what he did. Jerry Jones took all his money, leveraged everything to buy the Dallas Cowboys because he saw the value. Jerry Jones was one of the first owners to break from the other owners and start negotiating his own deal. Remember, I think the league had a Coke deal. And Jerry Jones went and negotiated with Pepsi. And the league sued him. And Jerry Jones sued him back. And now everybody, to a certain degree, their local stuff, they can gather revenue.
Right.
So Jerry Jones have made the other owners in the NFL richer by suing the NFL and making the NFL see that we can do this and all the owners benefit from it.
Right.
So Jerry Jones deserves a lot of credit for the valuation of the NFL and its teams.
Right.
It still don't mean Jerry Jones not a bad.
But I will say this about Jerry Jones concerning this Michael Parsons. He has to get this Michael Parsons deal done because Jerry Jones is trying to win another Super Bowl before he kicked the bucket. Yeah. I mean, he can't afford to wait a year.
Parsons. And this is another thing. Every day Michael Parsons is not running, not stretching, not hitting, not doing football-related things to get his body and his mind into football shape. All you're doing is risking and subjecting him to injuries when he comes back. Because this is the problem. The reason you have a training camp, the reason you have off-season conditioning is to ease your body back into the grind, to ease your body back into the intensity. This is why you want time to do that. As a professional athlete, at my age now, even though sitting here, I know I'm limited, you put my ass in the game right now. I'm going to try to do everything I did when I was 30. My mind ain't going to tell me no different when the lights come on, the popcorn start popping, and you put somebody in front of me to play. Now, by the time I try to do what I used to do and end up in the hospital, that's a different story. But my mind is going to tell me you got to go.
Right.
When Michael Parsons, if they sign him a day or two before opening day, even though he done missed 6 weeks of training camp, I'm not talking about being there lifting and stretching. I'm talking about the running, the cutting, the hitting, the stopping, the explosion. All that contact, getting your body and mind used to it, getting your body sore. People don't understand. When you go to training camp, the first 3-4 days, you are sore. That's your body adjusting. You got to get through that soreness. You have to keep working through it. So now what happens? Michael Parsons signs. He gets his money. He's excited. 2 days later, opening day, you're playing. He ain't easing. His mind tells him, I got to go. You get hurt. Because your body's not ready to play at that level and at that intensity because you've been sitting out.
Right.
Even though you're lifting, you're stretching, you're doing some running, you're not hitting. You're not got the contact. You're not stopping, starting, cutting. And so, look, man. And then what happens? Then the owners get mad because the guy got hurt. Well, that's why we didn't want to sign him. Well, if you would have signed him before training camp and let him come to camp like everybody else, chances are you wouldn't have these issues. So I just think right now, Dallas Cowboys in a tough spot. And again, you hope, and this is what blows my mind, you hope and wish and pray to have a generational talented guy like Micah Parsons. And then when you get that guy, you don't want to pay him.
Yeah, well.
And you could have did it last year. You could have, right now, Micah Parsons could be sitting there saying, wow, I'm the fourth or fifth highest defensive player at $35 million a year if you would have did it. But he couldn't have had anything to say because he got his money.
Right.
But why Jerry Jones waiting? The world only knows.
Right. Well, you got a few preseason games coming up Thursday. Preseason is back. It's here. So Thursday you got the Colts and the Ravens. You got the Bengals and the Eagles, and you also got the Raiders, who got an interesting story with that Christian Wilkinson. Yeah. But they're playing. Pete Carroll is playing his old team, the Seattle Seahawks.
Before we go, latest this Christian Wilkinson, because he signed last year as a free agent, a big free agent deal. He's defensive tackle, right?
Oh yeah, really good.
Good player.
Good player. Run stopper.
Run stopper.
Right.
Dallas need a run stopper. And I just saw Detroit. I saw Detroit Lions coach said, Dan Campbell said, I'll take him. Right now, he's on the market.
He's available.
So what happened now? The Dolphins just cut him. They signed
the Raiders. The Raiders cut him. Right.
He came from the Dolphins as a free agent.
Right.
Signed him to a big deal.
Yes.
And the Raiders just cut him.
The initial reports were that he was not rehabbing the way he was supposed to rehab because he had an ankle.
And the Raiders are on the hook for his guaranteed money too, right?
Right. Okay. But it's not fully guaranteed. It's not huge, but
he got a lot of money in signing bonus.
They got to pay
most of that money in signing bonus.
There's dead cap space there.
Yeah, but he got that. He got a big check for a signing bonus.
He got a big check.
Yeah.
But since then, the reports have come around that something happened in the locker room between him and another player. Adam Schefter reported that he playfully, and I'm hearing that Adam Schefter a lot of times get the news from the player agents on what to report, but he playfully kissed another teammate on the head. But
okay, kind of like one of those on the head.
Playfully.
Okay.
Yes. But Mike Florio says otherwise, and there's a video that's come out.
Mike Florio?
Mike Florio is a football insider, been a football insider for a long time.
Okay.
I forget who he writes for now, but he's been around for a long time. Very reputable, and he knows his stuff. He said it's a little bit deeper than that. This had to get HR involved.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And since then, there has been video circulating. I wish I had it because I would have played it, of Christian Wilkinson doing things that are either he is homosexual, or he plays like he's homosexual.
Well, I don't know any man.
Hand splits to twerking to touching other players in the game on their private parts.
Look, I don't know anybody who plays like that. Look, I don't know if these reports are accurate or true, but I would say this. Young fella, be who you are. But whoever you are, be respectful. Whoever you are, have dignity. Respect for yourself and respect for others. Don't make a mockery out of something that people have spent their life. Again, I'm not defending his actions. I don't know if it's true. I know the locker room can be a sensitive place. But I will say this. I know I've been in a locker room and I've led a team. If you're going to be who you are, the men and the people in that locker room can come to grips with that, can respect that. Where people have a problem is when you're lying, when you're pretending to be something that you're not. Don't play with people. Either be who you are and do it respectfully and with respect to yourself and others. That's the only way it can be. Now, I'm not saying an advocate for either way. I don't know the young man. I haven't seen the videos. I haven't dove deep enough into these reports. But it sounds like it's some smoke there, so it's some fire. And I do know enough about Adam Schefter. Those guys pride themselves on getting it right. And especially when you start talking about stuff like this, you can't be halfway right. You got to be all the way right, or don't open your mouth.
Right. Well, a player as talented as Christian Wilkins is,
so let me ask you this:
for him not to
is someone going to pick him up? Yeah,
I believe so. He's a run stopper, man. You can't; those run stoppers don't fall off trees.
Especially in an era, a time now where you got Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley. You got the running backs have made a resurgence. You got teams now drafting running backs in the first round again, right? Everybody, the word used to be, I get your running backs in the third or fourth round. No. Running backs are now valued again.
Right.
And if running backs are valued again, you got to have run stoppers, because every great offensive team wants the run game.
Right.
They do not want to be one-dimensional, let these defensive linemen and linebackers pin their ears back and go after the quarterback. Because if you start dropping that quarterback 40 times, that quarterback, think about it. If I throw 40 passes, I'm probably going to get sacked 2 or 3 times, and I'm going to get hit 7 or 8 additional times.
Right.
So look at the beating that you give your quarterback. If you can just drop your quarterback 25, 26, 27 times and let him just turn around and hand that ball off, you got a better chance of keeping him upright for 17 games than throwing 40 times a game.
Well, you know who need a run stopper? The Raiders.
Apparently, they don't need one that bad.
Right.
Whatever he did in that locker room to those players, it offended them enough where the Raiders said, look, man, I can't wait for Thursday. Yeah. Because we got a lot of this stuff going to roll over.
We got to talk about Shador Friday.
Yeah, we got Shador.
Is he going to make his debut, or is he not going to do his debut?
Shador doing his thing in camp. But listen, man, you've been listening to it. We appreciate you guys joining us today. Welcome back to the show. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Also, don't forget, every Monday, the Raw Side of Things with Sir Bam Bam in the Game Network. Listening. As I always say to my friends out there, man, stop hating the game. Don't even hate yourself. Don't even hate the player. Just learn how to play the game to the best of your ability. Listen to In the Game. I'm your guy. I'm your coach, Sam Mitchell. Be back with you Thursday.